Genshin Impact is a game that puts a lot of importance on team building. But the fact that there are only 4 spots in one team, you then need to choose characters carefully. I said before in my previous video that every character in this game has a specific role in the team, whether it is a healer, a shielder, a buffer, an off-field damage dealer, or an on-field damage dealer, etc. But in later cases, some characters might be able to fit more than one role, and one of them is of course Kokomi. Kokomi, with all intents and purposes, a healer, but with a twist. When we talk about a healer in video games, we're most likely thinking about a type of characters that focus on healing and supporting their ally, and barely be able to do any kind of significant damage by themselves, since they are a support character. However, Kokomi is not just a healer. She is what I call a better healer or a better medic, which is a type of character that can dish out a pretty significant amount of damage by themselves, while also being able to heal the allies as well. There are only 2 better healers in Genshin Impact at the top of my head, which are Noelle and Kokomi, the 2 characters that can heal and also deal a pretty good amount of damage as well. Kokomi elemental skill will summon a hydro jellyfish, Bakekurake, in front of her to heal allies and deal hydro damage to enemies in a wide area in an interval. This ability is Kokomi's bread and butter in Freeze and Bloom team, with its amazing area coverage and long-lasting duration that can also be refreshed by using Kokomi's elemental burst. Therefore, you can have a permanent uptime of Bakekurake. The only weakness of this ability is the fact that it is stationary, and maybe its slow hydro application. Kokomi's elemental burst is 98 Ascension, which deals AoE hydro damage, then makes her normal attack, charge attack, and Bakekurake deal more damage based on her max HP. And if you unlock her 4th Ascension passive, her normal attack and charge attack damage from this ability will also further increase based on 15% of her healing bonus as well. And every time she attacks the enemy with her normal or charge attack, she will then heal everyone in the team, and also she can walk on water. But this aspect of her birth is not really that important. This ability is what allows Kokomi to deal a pretty good amount of damage on the field, while also ensuring the safety of her teammate. She may not be able to deal an insane amount of damage compared to the characters that are designed to be played as a main damage dealer, but with Ocean Hill Climb artifact set, her damage is actually pretty decent, all things considered. The main reason why her damage will never be as good as the characters that are designed to be a main damage dealer is not because of her stat or anything like that. It's because of one of her passive talents, Flawless Strategy. Sangonomiya Kokomi has a 25% healing bonus, but a 100% decrease in crit rate. This passive is what sparked a massive drama in Genshin Impact community when she first released into the game Impact 2.1. People make fun of her, saying that she is the worst 5-star character in the game, she is useless, a nonsensical and badly designed character. People just could not stop shitting on Kokomi with this passive alone. Now, I am not in Genshin Impact community at the time. I quit Genshin Impact in 1.0, then came back a year later in Impact 2.3. I am not a part of this drama whatsoever, and to think that Kokomi was regarded as the worst 5-star character at the time is so ridiculous to me. Really, go try and watch a YouTube video that talks about Kokomi from back in Impact 2.1 and just see how stupid and poorly aged all of them are. It's fucking crazy. It's so surreal, like looking into an alternate reality. But I digress. Kokomi is the character that got better and better as the time goes by. At first, Hoyoverse added lift hounds into the game, and put them into the spiral abyss, therefore forcing players to put a healer into their team. Lip Hounds are these floating wolf enemies that can apply the collision status on hit, which continuously drains HP from all party members, regardless of whether you have the shield on your on-field character or not. Admittedly, Lip Hounds are not that bad to deal with if you don't have a healer in your team. If you can dodge them and don't get hit, you can still get rid of them quite fine. But regardless of how difficult they are to deal with or without a healer, it is still one of the many instances that HoYoverse try to nudge, hint the player to play Kokomi. Then in patch 2.3, they added the Ocean Hill Clams artifact set, which helped a lot of healers besides Bennett to find a new playstyle, and able to do a pretty decent amount of damage by healing. And even though HoYoverse never confirmed that they made the Ocean Hill Clams artifact set for Kokomi, but you cannot deny that they did make this artifact set without Kokomi in mind. Because look at the design of the artifacts, their color palette, the ocean theme, and how much it perfectly suits Kokomi's entire kit. Yeah, HoYoverse made this artifact set for Kokomi. Then in version 3.0, Dendro element finally came out, and it changed the entire meta landscape upside down with how powerful and potent its elemental reactions are. The release of Nilu and later on Nahida only further solidified Kokomi as a powerful and versatile character worthy of being placed among the top tier meta characters. She can be played in Tessa team, Nilo Broom team, Hyper Broom team, Virgin team, and she is also one of the core team members of Ayaka Fist team. But even then, some people still refuse to acknowledge her power and versatility by saying that because her burst forced her to stay on field to deal damage and thus her DPS loss, or her elemental skill is stationary and thus bad or whatever. Like, if there's someone say positive things about Kokomi, that would be another person who trying to counter argument it. It's so annoying. Every character in this game has a weakness, even the top tier meta defining characters. For example, Furina, and the fact that you need to pair her with healers or characters that can manipulate their HP, otherwise her burst will be completely useless. And also, her elemental skill will drain the entire party health bar by half, which also can be seen as a weakness. But despite all of these things about her kit, she's still widely regarded as one of, if not, the best character in the entire game. It is the same thing as Kokomi. Yes, her elemental skill is stationary and she might not be able to do as much damage compared to the dedicated DPS characters, but that doesn't mean that she is a bad character. So this argument is kind of stupid to me. Like, yeah, she has some weakness in her kit, but so does Bennett, so does Shinshu, so does Furina, so does Nahida, so does Yelan, so does Kazuha. Even Nulet is not an exception to this. But anyway, I digress. Back to the topic. Now we are in the Fontaine period. And what did Fontaine do to Kokomi compared to Sumeru with Dendro element? One word. Just one word. Furina. Now I talked about Furina earlier, but let's look at her kit in more detail. Furina's elemental skill is Saron Solitaire, in which she will summon her pets onto the field based on her current form. The pets will vary from these three psychopathic murderous trios if she's in her Usia form that will attack nearby enemies, campfire, even random structures sometimes, and each time they attack something, it will then sap the life of the entire team bit by bit, then eventually stop at 50% max HP. They also deal more damage if Furina's teammates have more than 50% max HP. Or if she changes her form to her Numa form, the pet that she summons will be this thing. It just heal nearby the character that is on the field. That's it. It doesn't do any damage, doesn't apply any hydro, doesn't generate any particle, it just heal. Pretty nice in co-op though, but otherwise, use the pest in Usia form. Furina's elemental burst let the people rejoice, deal AoE hydro damage, and cause the entire team to enter the universal levelry state. During this state, if party members' HP increase or decrease, Furina will receive a fanfare point, maximum at 300 fanfare points. Each fanfare point that she gains will increase the incoming healing bonus and damage dealt by the entire party members by a ludicrous 75% damage bonus at 300 fanfare point. This is by far the best damage buff ability in the entire game. A universal 75% damage increase for the entire team is ridiculous. But to achieve 300 fanfare points, you need a powerful healer in the same team alongside Furina, or someone who can fluctuate their HP by themselves, otherwise her burst does nothing, and your entire team will stuck with 50% HP with no way to get it back, aside her Numa form pet's healing. Furina is a character that is designed to be played with a healer to reach her maximum potential, and Kokomi happens to be a really good healer, so pairing them up together is a no-brainer. Plus, they are both from Hydro Element, and Hydro Elemental Resonance is really good for both of them, since both of their kits scales with their HP. The release of Furina single-handedly pushed healers into the meta. Some might even say that healers are better than shielders now after the release of the Hydro Archon. The combination of her strong off-field hydro damage that has a permanent uptime and the ludicrous 75% damage buff as her elemental burst. As long as she is pairing with a strong healer, Furina will make any team that she's in good. But what if the healer that pairing with her is the damage dealer themselves? Do you still remember the section where I talk about the battle healer? Noel and Kokomi are the only healers in the game that have a kit that lets them to be played as an on-field damage dealer, while also supporting their team at the same time. But both of them are unable to dish out as much damage as a dedicated on-field damage dealer, because asking an on-field damage dealer to deal a massive amount of damage while also make the entire team unkillable at the same time would be way too OP. No limitation of why her damage is not as high as the dedicated damage dealer is because of her 4-star limitation. A 4-star damage dealer will never be as good as a 5-star damage dealer, because that stat is lower than the 5-star counterpart. That's why Yanfei will never be as good as Klee, or Furina will never be as good as Yula. In Kokomi's case, it is because of her inability to click. However, both of them have something that the other on-field damage dealers don't have: their potent and powerful team-wide healing, which counteract the HP draining of Furina's elemental skill, and in turn increases the HP fluctuation rate of party members. Therefore, Furina will gain more fanfare points and able to reach the maximum number of fanfare stack much faster, and with maximum fanfare points, every single character in the team will also deal 75% more damage, and that include Noel and Kokomi. Now, in the present day, with the power of the Hydro Archon, Kokomi can now be played as an on-field damage dealer without losing any DPS. It is quite the opposite. She will actually make the entire team gain more DPS, which is so funny to me. As a Kokomi man myself, I would have never thought that the day when Kokomi plus the Hydro Archon and 2 random characters that can deal damage off field, it could be anybody. Fisher, Yaemiko, Albedo, Shioli, Xiangling, Nahida, Jinchu, Yelan, and many more off-field damage dealers will do as much damage as your typical hyper-carry team. And I didn't even mention the fact that you can also replace one of the off-field damage dealers with an animal support character, like Kazuha or Sukrot with a VV artifact set to further boost the damage of the entire team as well. Kokomi has come a long way since patch 2.1, where everybody is making fun of her inability to crit, to now she's one of the most versatile and useful characters in the game. But even then, some people still refuse to acknowledge her power and versatility. Some people just completely ignore the fact that you can play Kokomi with Furina. They're just hyper fixated on the idea that Kokomi only has 2 meta teams, which is a Freeze team and Thunder team, which mostly the Nilo Broom team, which is, yeah, I'm not gonna deny that both of those teams are a really strong team, deserving as one of the meta team. However, Kokomi has more than 2 team people. As I said earlier, Kokomi paired with Furina and 2 random off-field damage dealers or 1 animal grouper can be a very strong team for Kokomi. Or Sukokomon, the team is still pretty good. Like, I don't know how some people came to the conclusion that Kokomi only have 2 meta teams. Like, how? Like, are we even playing the same game? And those people that still to this day refuse to acknowledge Kokomi's usefulness and versatility. These 2 types of people, they actually bother me. They make me so annoyed to the point that I need to make this video. But if you look at the title of this video, the question still remains: is Kokomi still underrated? In my opinion, yes, she's still a pretty underrated character even after all these years. It's quite sad that people just brush her off and only have 2 meta team, and when those 2 meta team didn't really do well in Spyro a bit, that means Kokomi is not a good character anymore, or she's dropped down in the meta tier list. However, some people might think that she's rated appropriately already. But what about you? Do you think that Kokomi is still underrated?